Hi friends, welcome to Kodai Linux. This session we are going to learn awk. We are going to learn certain concepts of awk by looking at this script which would generate payslip for employees. Okay, let us move on to the command line. Vi generate payslip, generate emps payslip. Okay, dot awk. So here what we are going to do, we are going to write an awk script. In the previous session, we learned awk. We started learning awk from the past two sessions. Okay, wherein we have learned how to specify the awk script in the command line itself within a pair of quotes. Okay, but at that time I had also mentioned that we can put this script part in a separate file and we can execute the awk script. Okay, so that we are going to see in this. Okay, so we are going to work with the awk script. Okay, so at the beginning of the awk script we can define a section called begin, and I have told you that the purpose of the begin section is that we can initialize the variables, whatever we want to do once at the beginning of awk script execution. Okay, that we can specify in the begin section, right? Okay, now we want to define a variable fs. Okay, so that is capital Fs equal to double quote comma, because the input file that we are going to work, the field delimiter is comma. Okay, and we don't want to give any selection criteria. We don't want to check any condition because we want to generate payslip for all the employees. Okay, so what all we want to find? So based on the basic pay. Okay, so basic pay is the last field in the input file that we are going to work with. So what is the input file we are going to work with? Let me just show it to you. :! So whenever you want to execute any Unix command being in the VI editor itself, okay, you can use this : okay, then head -1 new emp dot data. Okay, see, look at this employee record. Okay, 873.63. So the last field in every record is the basic pay, right? So we want to work with the last field. So we want to get the last field and we want to work with it. Like, let us suppose that I want to, from the basic pay, I want to calculate the HRA, then I want to calculate the some other allowance. Okay, like I want to calculate the HRA, I want to calculate the something like CCA, city compensatory allowance, or DA. I want to calculate the HRA, I want to calculate the DA, I want to calculate the provident fund, which is a deduction. So then based on these I want to calculate the gross pay and net pay. So let us suppose first I want to calculate the DA. So DA is, let us suppose DA is 15% of the basic pay. But basic pay value in every record, the value of the basic pay is in the last field. How do I access the last field? So you know that from the previous session there is a predefined variable called NF. Okay, NF variable stores the number of fields. When it reads a record, when AWK reads a record, it will find the number of fields, it will count the number of fields based on the field delimiter. See, here I have given the delimiter comma, right? So based on the comma delimiter, okay, it would find the number of fields, it would calculate the or count the number of fields, and that number of fields it will store in a variable called predefined variable called NF. So the NF variable value would be updated for every record that AWK reads. So nf stores the number of fields. Let us suppose that in a particular file number of fields is 14. Okay, so nf variable value would be 14. Okay, how do you access the 14th field? $14. Okay, so 14th field only you have to access, right? If number of fields is 14 means, and the last field if you want to access, it means you have to access the 14th field. But nf contains the 14th field, right? So what you can do, so if you want to access the last field of a record, then you can specify $nf, wherein, because just if you take an example, nf, okay, number of fields is 14 and 14th field value if you want to get $14 I have to give, right? So here I have to give nf stores that value 14 if number of fields is 14. So $nf would mean $14. So that would get me the 14th field value, right? So that's the logic. So DA equal to $nf into 0.15. So we have calculated the DA. Then we want to calculate the HRA. Okay, so HRA is also an allowance. Okay, so HRA, that let us suppose that is 20%, just for our working purpose. Okay, it need not be accurate. Okay, so HRA may be 20% of the basic. Then PF, that may be, what is it? That may be, okay, 12.5% of the basic pay. Okay, so 12.5% of the basic pay. Okay, and then we want to calculate the GP, that is gross pay. So gross pay would be basic plus DA plus HRA. So basic is what? $nf plus DA plus HRA. Fine. So this is how we work with the variables here, and we are working with even the arithmetic operators. We are working with the equality operator. Okay, so we are finding the GP, gross pay. We want to find the net pay. NP equal to, net pay is always what? Gross pay minus deductions. So gross pay minus, and what is the deduction here? There is only one deduction. Okay, tax and all we have not considered for simplicity purpose. Okay, gross pay minus PF. Okay, so we have calculated the gross pay and net pay. So now what we want to display? We want to display maybe employee name. Okay, maybe some other information of employee, then these pay information. Okay, let us see what are all the various fields. Okay, head -1 new emp dot data. Okay, one sec. Head -1 new emp dot. Okay, so let us suppose employee first name, employee last name, then employee company Landrum Temporary Services. Okay, so who is the client associated with the employee? Okay, maybe employee first name, employee last name, maybe employee ID, employee first name, employee last name, and then this thing, what is that? Employee pay details. Okay, these all we want to display. So $1, $2, $3 and the pay details. Okay, then how do we display that? You have a printf command in awk. So using printf command, what you can do means you can generate formatted output using awk. You want a formatted output, like I want a well tabulated output, then I can do so with the help of the printf statement. Okay, so let us see how do we do that. Okay, just like C programming language, here also you have a set of format specifications. Okay, so format specifications always begin with a percentage. So for displaying integer, you have %d. For displaying floating point numbers, %f. For displaying octal numbers, %o. For displaying for displaying decimal integers, %d, whatever I specify. For person displaying octal numbers, percentage O. For displaying hexadecimal numbers, percentage X. Okay. So, and for displaying strings, percentages. Okay. So this is how we specify the format specifications. Okay. So, okay. First, I want to display what? The employee ID. So that is like a number, right? So percentage 2D I am giving. Okay. Maybe just for displaying 2 digits I need space, or I can specify percentage 3D, right? And then next I want to display the employee first name. So employee first name is what? That is a string, right? So percentage, and that string may occupy maybe some 20 characters. Okay, percentage minus 20, yes. Okay, what this minus 20 will do? So if you are not giving any minus, no, if you're not giving any minus, okay, so for example I've given percentage 3D. So if that minus is missing, it will right justify the number in the, so 3 spaces it will allocate for displaying that number. But let us suppose that the number to be displayed is a 2-digit number, so it will right justify it, or 1-digit number, it will right justify it. Okay, 3-digit number, it will exactly display in that particular allocated space. But minus, when you are prefixing that number with minus, after percentage you are giving minus, then that number, it means 20 space it will allocate for displaying that number. Okay, in that tabular column, in that 20 space it will left justify that value. Okay, so percentage 3D, percentage minus 20s, another percentage minus 20s, because first name, last name, and then the pay details. In pay details, what all I want to display? I want to display the basic pay. Okay, so percentage, again basic pay, that is a floating point value. So percentage 12.2F. Okay, so total we are allocating 12 spaces, out of which okay, we are taking care of 2 digits after the decimal point also. Okay, then so this we are percentage 12.2F, we are giving it for displaying the basic pay. Then for displaying the gross pay, percentage 12.2, we can do it like trial and error. So how much space it requires, based on that we can come back and change the format specifications. Okay, then for displaying the gross pay, so basic pay, gross pay, net pay, enough. Okay, slash n. So for every employee we are displaying employee ID, employee first name, employee last name, basic pay, gross pay, net pay. So employee ID, that is at which variable? $1, first field, $2. So the basic significance of awk, in what way awk differs from the other filter commands that we have seen, means awk can, okay, awk helps us to address a field. Okay, awk helps us to retrieve, okay, retrieve values based on a particular field value. So retrieve, basically address a particular field value. Okay, so we are able to tell that, okay, I want to get first field value, second field value, third field value, or I want to tell that I want to get all the records wherein third field value is so and so. So I am able to okay, use such conditions. So I am able to do the field wise matching. Okay, so that is the significance of the AWK command. So I am able to do the field wise matching. So $1, $2, then $3, that is employee ID, employee first name, employee last name, and then the $NF, that is the last field, which is the basic pay, then the gross pay, then the net pay. Okay, these all I want to display for every employee. Correct? Okay, sorry, there is no curly brace. Fine. Then here at the end we need a curly brace, right? Okay, before that we want to do one more thing. What we want to do, we want to find the cumulative. Okay, so the cumulative of all the take home pays or the net pays. So what I can do, sum plus equal to net pay. That is sum equal to sum plus net pay. Then you would be wondering, okay, I have not initialized sum to 0, no? Okay, but what AWK does mean? AWK, when I am giving a statement like sum plus equal to NP, it understands that sum has to be initialized to a value 0. It first initializes it to a value 0. So sum plus equal to NP means what? Sum equal to sum plus NP. So initial value is 0. With that 0 value, the currently whatever is the NP value, it would add and store it in the sum. So sum's value would be that resultant value. Next iteration, that is next record, it reads and then again it comes here. Then with the current sum value, whatever was that previous sum value, no, with that it will again add the NP and store the result in sum. So as a result, sum would finally have the cumulative value. Okay, that is the value of the net pay of all the employees. Okay, cumulative net pay of all the employees. So that what I want to do, I want to summarize it at the end. So in the end section, I want to summarize that. So here what I want to tell, I want to tell that, okay, cumulative pay of all employees, cumulative net pay of all employees is, okay, comma, cumulative pay of all employees, okay, sum, fine, then semicolon, curly brace. Okay, what all we are learning from this script? First, see, first of all, what we learned is that we are able to give okay, specify that script part in a separate file, okay, and give it a name, something, some file name .awk. Okay, and then we are specifying begin section at the beginning of the AWK script, end section at the end of the AWK script. So physically as well as logically, they are at the beginning and the end of the AWK script. Okay, and then as an action part, so in between the begin and end section, what is there? The selection criteria and action. But here the selection criteria is missing. So what does it mean? We don't want to check any condition, so we are not giving selection part, selection criteria. Okay, so in the action part, what we are doing some calculations. We are finding the DA, HRA, PF, GP, NP, everything. Then we are displaying the formatted output. So that also, this using this script we are able to learn that also. So how to display formatted output? Okay, so here specifying the /n for new line is mandatory, otherwise your output will be in a single line. Okay, so with printf, new line is not implicit, it is mandatory to specify explicitly. Okay, that is why we have specified the new line, and the number of format specifications should match the number of arguments. The number of format specifications specified should match the number of arguments. So you have to specify the format specifications within double quote and then comma and the list of arguments separated by comma and then end with a semicolon. Okay, every AWK statement has to end with a semicolon. And here what we are doing, we are finding the cumulative. So every net pay for every record we are calculating net pay. That net pay we are adding to the sum and storing the result in the sum. So this is known as the arithmetic assignment operator or shorthand assignment operator, right? So this will mean what? Both in the LHS and RHS, the sum variable is there. Sum equal to sum plus NP. So that you can write it in a shorthand way notation, sum plus equal to NP. Okay. Then finally in the end section, what we are doing, we are summarizing the result. Cumulative net pay of all employees, sum. Okay, so the final summarized value, the cumulative value, you are displaying at the end section. Okay, so these are all the things that we are learning in this script. Okay, now how to execute this script? That is quite simple. Whenever you want to tell that whatever you have specified is the name of the awk script. Okay, so don't look at the awk script within single quote in the command line itself, but look at the awk script in the file that I am specifying. So how do we communicate to the awk? By prefixing the awk script with the -f option or -f option. Okay, -f followed by generate emps payslips.awk and then followed by the input file name. What is the input file name? New emp.data. Okay. So what does it display? It displays employee ID, employee first name, employee last name, then the basic pay, gross pay and net pay for every employee. And finally it is giving the cumulative net pay of all employees. It is displaying in the scientific notation. But if you want to display it in the what is that? If you want to display it in our ordinary general notation, then what we can do, let us open the script. Okay, what we can do means we can display with the printf. This also we can display with the printf. Okay, then here cumulative net pay of all employees, I can give percentage 15.2f /n and then sum. Okay, fine. Then colon wq. Now let us execute the script. Okay, awk -f generate emps payslips.awk, then the employee file. Now you look at the cumulative net pay of all employees. It is in the fixed point notation. So this notation is known as fixed point notation. Okay, so here let us look at one more thing. Like, what if I don't even want to execute it with the awk command, but I want to just display execute the script like /generate employees payslips.awk. So how can we do that? So let us see it, whether we are able to do that. Okay, so vi employees payslip. Here I can specify a line called as the shebang line. Okay, so what is the path of the awk command? /user /bin/awk. So /usr /bin/awk, then -f. Okay, because awk script should be prefixed with -f, so I'm giving -f. So now let us see whether we are able to execute it. /generate emps. Why the command completion is not happening? Probably because it doesn't have the execute permission. See ls-l generate. Yes, it doesn't have the execute permission. So what we do, we give the execute permission. Okay, now /generate yes, and then new emp.data. Okay, yes, we are able to execute it. So how we have executed it? We have executed without the help of the awk command. So how it is possible? So if you are able to, if you want to execute the awk script, okay, just like executing shell script, if you want to execute the awk script, or just like executing any other binary, if you want to execute the awk script, that is without the help of the awk command. So two conditions have to be satisfied. One is that it should have the execute permission, this awk script. Another is that it should have the shebang line, and then in the shebang line you need to specify the -f option. Okay, so that way you can take care that it gets the status of the command. See cat generate. Okay, so the first line is the shebang line. So that line indicates that the script has to be processed by the awk command, because the shebang line in shebang line we are giving the absolute path name of the awk command. So rather than executing awk from the command line, here inside the script we are telling that awk command has to be loaded. So awk command will be loaded, but awk command expects a -f option. Okay, for identifying whatever is succeeding is the script. So that is the reason we are giving the -f option. See, even in the command line, when you are specifying a script, you need to prefix it with the -f option, right? So only you are specifying the script within single quote, you don't have to do that. But when you are specifying a script in the file, then you need to prefix with the -f. So here also in the shebang line should be followed by the -f option to tell that whatever follows is the AWK script. Got it? So with this, we are coming to the conclusion of this session. Okay, I believe this would have benefited you. Thank you. We'll see again in our next session. So whatever we are learning in AWK, please practice that on your system. So before concluding this session, a thought: if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Mother Teresa. So with this thought, let us conclude this session. Take care. Bye bye.